like y'all were doing the birthday dance a while ago.
They were.
All right. I want to talk with you today, and my message today is going to be about value. Value. How much is something worth? When you go to the store, you want to find out if there's something that you want to buy, whether it's something to eat or a toy to play with. You want to say, well, how much will I have to pay? And so someone has determined how much that toy costs. I remember when I was about your age, Addison, the big rage was yo-yo. You know what a yo-yo is? It's around, and you put it on your finger with string. That's it. And you go down and it comes up. Well, yo-yos, Duncan yo-yos were the craze. I think there was somebody on the Ed Sullivan Show who did all kinds of. Remember that, Randy? They'd walk the dog and through the bridge and yo-yo. I remember Tommy Smothers was a big yo-yo guy. Did you have something?
Loop the loop.
Loop the loop, around the world. And all I could do was walk the dog. So when it goes down, it stays down, and you just drag it around the house. And I wanted a yo-yo, and I asked my mother, Granny, you know Granny. And so she stopped at a store, and I waited out in the car. She came back in, and she didn't have a yo-yo. And I was disappointed. I said, Mama, why didn't you get me a yo-yo? She said, well, they're just too high there. And I was so disappointed because my mother is a very tall person, and I thought, surely she could reach it, no matter how high it was, or they could have gotten her a ladder. And that didn't answer my question. I was thinking, well, shoot, I envisioned that yo-yo was just right up there. It wouldn't have been all that. I probably could have climbed up and got it if all that was wrong with it was it just too high. Well, you probably get that better than I did. I have here a $1 bill. Do you know whose picture's on a $1 bill? It's a president. Our very first president, George Washington. And talking about value, I talked with you last week about, the week before, about treasure in earthen vessels. Earthen vessels, it's like having a lot of gold, but it's in a pot made out of clay. That's all right. Someone says, well, I want to give you all this gold, but I know that you probably wouldn't want it because it's in a clay pot. Well, what God has given us. You know, God is the richest person in the world. The Bible says He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. That's a way of saying God's got a lot of cows. And that was a way in the Old Testament way of saying, they thought anybody who had lots of cows was a very rich person. God owns everything. God is not only great Himself, but He has many, many things that are of great value. But if someone, let's say someone like that who had great riches and great wealth and had great possibilities, and he decided he was going to give you something, he's going to give you the very best thing that he could think of, or the very best thing that he had to give. And that's what God did. The richest person in all the whole universe gave us His Son. You know what's better than a $1 bill? $2 bills. That's enough for each of you to have one. Would you like to have them? I'm not going to give them to you. I just want to see if you want it. Now, here, these are just regular, ordinary $1 bills. But God does work, as they say, in mysterious ways. I'm going to put these where George Washington shows on the back and on the front, just like that. $2. Don't ever play with scissors. Especially around money. Funny thing about money, and I wanted to show this to your parents to show them how to cut their expenses in 2016. And that's the way to do it. Now, what God is doing in our life, though, is not just enriching us with money. But He's doing many wonderful things. And what God is doing is a process. But it always involves progress. Like Danny was saying, when things are happening, we may think sometimes that those are things that are happening that we don't want to happen. Nothing ever happens that God doesn't want to happen. God is always working. He's always moving. We can't always see and we can't always tell. We don't always know what He's going to wind up with. We can say, God, I know you're doing something. I know you're up there. And it's always going to be important. It always has value. It's always going to have great value. I want to show you something that you've probably never seen before. You know what that is? That's a $2 bill. And it has Thomas Jefferson's picture on it. He was a president as well. So it's no longer $2 bills, no longer 2 bills that have been cut in two, but it's a $2 bill. God's always doing things. You know, I like doing things that appear to be magical or things that have mystery to them. But what God does is marvelous. So far outstrips or outscopes anything that you and I can even think or dream. God has given you the greatest gift that He could ever give you. I hope that you realize that as you grow older. And He has so many other wonderful things that He wants to give and share to us. But the most wonderful gift of all is Himself. And He gives Himself for us. All right? Thank you. You're very good lambs. I hope you have a good time at Children's Church today.